I'm Leah Hammond and welcome to this week's video. Today we're going to be talking about how to manage your anxiety. It's really important to know how to manage and do it properly rather than to keep all those thoughts bottled up inside your brain. So without any further delay, let's just jump right into it. So you may have heard anxiety be described as crazy, maybe a loony, maybe even the word retarded, or maybe just, any not nice word. I'm sure you've heard anxiety be described as, but we've all been there, even, your grandmother, your mother, your friend, doesn't matter who it is. I'm sure they've experienced anxiety in some sort of way. But what brought you to my channel is you're experiencing anxiety probably in a big way, or somebody that is experiencing anxiety in a really big way. So you want to help. You want to help yourself or you want to help them. So first, find out what your trigger points are. Think about, is it a loved one? Is it a place? Is it a smell? And make sure you write those things down. Make sure that you really, really think hard on this one, because that is your trigger points for your anxiety attack or your loved one's anxiety attack. For me, it's getting sick. Whether I have a cold, whether I have the flu, whether I just don't feel well, my fear is getting sick. Now, a little bit of background from where that came from is when I was in a car accident about 4 years ago, I experienced these less than normal headaches. I didn't know what it was. The doctor didn't know what it was, but he did make the mistake of telling me that I could have a brain tumor. Now, this was really scary for me, being a young mom, and I lived really far away from family at this point as well, and I just had a car accident. So this was like super scary for me. I didn't know how to handle it, and so I just kind of bottled all those feelings up inside, and it created these blocks in my brain, and I wasn't able to control the thoughts, and I wasn't able to process them properly or rationally. Now it's better, but I still fear of getting sick and leaving my children and leaving my family. So that's where mine comes from, and I always, whenever I'm sick, I always write down what I'm afraid of. So sometimes it'll be like, okay, I have a cold and I'm not getting better. Do I have cancer? I'll write that down. Sometimes my daughter will be sick and it'll be like, does she have meningitis or something? I'll write it down. And if you really do have these fears, please don't get me wrong, like go to the doctor, see your doctor, but definitely write those things down. Step number 2 is figure out what your body feels like when you're having an anxiety attack, or ask that person what they feel. So for me, my body aches. Like it aches like I've had the worst flu of my entire life. And I have been diagnosed with fibromyalgia, which they think ties into having anxiety, because you have like all these like ghost pains and you don't know where they come from. But it hurts and it's real, and it's your body's way of protecting itself. And when your neurocells are acting all crazy and not working efficiently, your body just tends to protect itself naturally. So if you want to, do write those down as well, but make sure you're self-aware and you recognize how your body feels. I want you to rate your anxiety on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being high and 1 being low. I really want you to be honest with this step. I know some of you are really scared to do this, but be brutally honest with yourself as far as like your severity of your anxiety, because that'll help with the next steps later on in different videos, or even later in this video. For me, I would say about a 4 now, because I know how to manage my anxiety. Sometimes it gets a little bad if I'm overwhelmed with a bunch of things going on in my brain. Before, if you would have asked me like a year and a half ago when my mom passed away, I probably would have been about a 9. It's scary being that high, but it's important that you recognize it so you can take the steps to make yourself better. I want you to write down how anxiety has changed your life, or how it's impacted your life. For me, I have 2 kids, and it seriously, deeply affected my children, and it still does to this day. Not in a negative way anymore, because they now know when mommy isn't feeling good. They know to comfort me, which makes me feel a lot better. So again, communication is really key, especially with young children that are around you all the time. Recognize how it's changed your life. So can you go out and be social with your friends? Can you go and visit family? For me, I couldn't even go to a dinner function without freaking out. So Make sure you do that, and again, be super honest with yourself, because if you're not honest with yourself, you can't make yourself better. I want you to look at all those things that has changed in your life and let that be the motivation for you to get better. Some of these steps you might think are completely useless, but really they do work. Now, I just want to throw in a little extra information on something that I do that really helps me and that my doctor recommended for me, is that start a journal. Write down your thoughts. So if you're having an anxiety attack or a panic attack and you're having all these irrational thoughts, write them down, speak them out, and then listen to yourself. Because once they're out of your head, I feel like that kind of calms you for, moving on from that anxiety attack. It's a lot right now, and it's a lot to handle, but I promise you that we're in this together and we can work through it together. And don't forget that someone in your life has probably experienced anxiety, but they have learned how to manage it, and so can you. Just because you have a mental illness does not mean you can't manage it. Well, that's it for today's video. It was nice and short and sweet. But if you liked it, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, subscribe for more videos every single Thursday, and all my social handles will be down below. Thanks for watching.